The Ryzen 9 5900X is a beast of a CPU, having 12 core and 24 threads that is most certainly going to be able to entertain just about all of your demands and expectations. However, getting the full juice out of the Ryzen 9 5900X requires that you give it the right housing, and in this case, the right X570 motherboard for 5900X. But how do we decide on the best of the best? Well, here's how. The motherboard's VRM and power delivery are crucial parts, as they will determine how well said motherboard will be able to handle the CPU that's installed in it. We need to combine that with the usage and then justify it with the price. Of course, that must not always be the case, as not everyone looking to buy a motherboard is doing so for overclocking. Therefore, we must also take into account how well-rounded it is. So without any further discussion, let's take a look at the roundup. Price information and all motherboards mentioned in the video are available in the description. Number 5. ASRock Taichi X570. The ASRock Taichi X570's black PCB is pretty standard now, with all other gaming motherboards out there. Along with that, it comes with a rather big heatsink in its bottom part. Although the heatsinks are taking up quite a lot of space, the CPU socket still has ample room around it to house most CPU coolers without causing you much trouble. It features 3 M2 slots and offers 3 PCI Express 4 slots with 6 SATA ports. All in all, it's got itself covered here in that regard, which is great. The board also features a decent I/O port lineup, which is not too shabby. In terms of the power design, it features a 14-phase VRM design, ideal for people who need to increase their CPU clock speeds. With an output of 600 amps, it is sufficient for LN2 overclocking as well. ASRock has changed their BIOS layout with the Taichi X570, which makes it easier to navigate through. This motherboard houses an expensive price tag as well, which makes it sort of a niche buy. However, ASRock has made it clear that they're intending this motherboard to be used for overclocking experts and fanatics. So much so that the PWM controller is designed specifically to handle AMD CPUs. However, it does little to justify its price tag. As it stands, the current features just don't cut it for that high a price. Number 4. Asus TUF Gaming X570. Asus TUF Gaming X570 is one of those products that just crosses all the right marks. Its design and presence give off that aura where you know that this is going to be a good one. With a price tag that isn't too out of the park, it easily reserves a soft spot in our hearts and from the community as well. While the color scheme may not be for everyone, it does feature syncable RGB lights to change the mood. This board features reinforced plates for some extra support, and it does so in not just the PCB, but in the connectors as well. The styling, although nothing too special, does rock a very aesthetic and sleek look with the reinforced plates and the black and yellow color scheme. In terms of connectivity, it does offer a pretty good chunk. However, there's no front panel USB 3.1 offered. Moreover, the place for the PCI Express makes it so that some of the slots get covered up if you're using the x16 slots. For the power design, the Asus TUF Gaming X570 has a 7+1 VRM design. The 8-phase VRM is not something that we have seen to fall short on when delivering peak performance on the Ryzen 9 5900X. However, for some of the same money, the Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite offers an even higher and more robust VRM design. Having said that, we observe that this board offers great stock and some mild-level overclocking performances, which is a definite plus. This board does a great job of delivering good money's worth of performance. With a relatively decent chunk of change, you can get a motherboard that not only earns some style points, but also secures some performance points too, based on its stock and overclocking ratings. There are a few quirks that are present, but all in all, this is a great board that is a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Number 3. MSI MPG X570 Gaming Plus. Moving down in our list, we have the MSI MPG X570 Gaming Plus, which brings us to the question of addressing the budget builds, which are a lot more common. Not everyone out there is looking to burn a hole in their wallet just to build a PC. This is why we had to find the optimal budget motherboard for Ryzen 9 5900X, and the MSI MPG X570 Gaming Plus is here to fill that spot. This motherboard follows a very simplistic route and offers a decent-looking motherboard while not going over the top with extra RGB and fan headers and a flashy-looking active PCH heatsink. Looking at the design of other high-end motherboards, this one lacks in comparison. However, that's not a fault in this board. Seeing as this is intended for budget builds, it's only fair we decide it's worth based on the other performance aspects of it. The chipset heatsink also features a cooling fan high speed to add a little bit more breathing room for your CPU. It features an 8+2 phase VRM design, which which is not that great, but if you're looking to overclock your CPU, you should be looking at the higher-end motherboards for Ryzen anyway. And while this motherboard does a decent job of being a friend of the average builder, there are notable drawbacks to this one as well. Most notably is the fact that some of the PCIe lanes are either disabled based on which lane is being used, or just are not suitable for NVIDIA SLI. The MSI MPG X570 Gaming Plus does not attempt to show off and make great claims. This ends up working out in its favor, and although this one did not attain that much attention to it, it certainly is an excellent choice if you're on a budget. The motherboard falls short on some ends, and it's not an enthusiast motherboard, but overall it's a solid choice if you just want something to get the job done, but don't expect great overclocks or a feature-rich experience with this one. Number 2. Asus ROG X570 Crosshair 8 Formula. Next up, we have the Asus ROG X570 Crosshair 8 Formula, which comes with a very premium price tag for a motherboard, but deserves recognition nonetheless. The Crosshair 8 Formula features cooling solutions, a remarkable design, and a high data transfer rate, which alone definitely gives this board some bonus points. Its robustness is made complete with its weight as well, which gives it a sense of sturdiness. The backplate is reinforced as well, and the addition of brushed metal with this board's all-black PCB pairs well with the different RGB options available. With such a high price tag, it's only fitting that Crosshair 8 Formula goes above and beyond with what it has to offer in terms of style and high performance. An RGB lighting strip runs across the borders of this board, which is syncable with AurusSync. In terms of power delivery and performance, the motherboard features a 14+2 phase power design. By now, we've gotten the idea that such a high VRM design is an overkill of sorts. However, with a premium motherboard that's priced like this, it truly does harness the power of your Ryzen 9 5900X. And although the BIOS does not offer a unique set of elements from what Asus usually does with their other boards, this one certainly has more next-gen connectivity ports, which are a huge benefit. The Crosshair 8 Formula is not targeted at the average PC builder. It stands out by not only boasting a high price tag, but justifying it with its extreme VRM design, great audio capabilities, solid and robust design. As premium motherboards go, the Crosshair 8 Formula is a sight to behold for sure. Of course, all of this comes at a very premium price tag. If you're on a budget, the previous motherboards are better options. Number 1. Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite. Gigabyte motherboards have long served the PC community and have outshone many other competitors by their sheer dedication to putting out quality products. They've done that time and time again, and the Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite is a perfect example of that. To kick things off, let's look at the design elements first. The Aorus family of motherboards has a stealthy look about it, which is further complemented by its black PCB. With the trademark Aorus branding here and there, it also features RGB lights under the heatsink, earning extra style points from us. This sleek design does wonders when paired with the fact that it comes with syncable RGB lighting. With the right PC case, this motherboard's audio quality will show its flair as well. Not only that, the Gigabyte X570 Aorus Elite is a strong and sturdy board as well. Made with durable materials and metallic reinforcements, Gigabyte solidified the Aorus Elite with an all-round package. Seeing as this motherboard is being suggested to you for housing the powerhouse of a CPU that the Ryzen 9 5900X is, it's only fitting that the Aorus Elite justifies its position at the top fairly. And it does so quite well. It uses a 12+2 phase VRM design, designed to handle your CPU with ease. Along with that, you get a plethora of connectivity ports and QFlash Plus. QFlash Plus allows you to update your motherboard's BIOS without having to install other components. You just plug in the 24-pin and 8-pin power cables on the motherboard, download the updated BIOS to USB ports, and plug it in the QFlash Plus USB ports. It's hard to not put the Aorus Elite when it offers all that, including cooling solutions, at a price that's quite justifiable. Competing with even the best premium motherboards and doing so at a price that this board boasts is quite a remarkable feat. For overclocking enthusiasts, those looking to extract the full benefits of their Ryzen 9 5900X, or just for those looking for the best all-around board that justifies its price, this is most definitely the choice to go for. Lastly, the VRM fan high speed tends to get loud when the chipset's on load, so if you care a lot about noise levels, this is a con for you. Do you think another X570 motherboard is better for the Ryzen 9 5900X? Tell us your opinion.